Well, on this Veterans Day, we bring you a very unique story of somebody who served his country and helped change the course of World War II.
Navajo Code Talkers were an important part of the war, helping to outsmart the Japanese with their language that no one could crack.
And Javier, you had the privilege of talking with one of the last living Code Talkers.
You know, I got to tell you, it was absolutely incredible to just sit there and listen to history being told to me by a true American hero. So what an incredible experience to speak with 92-year-old Peter McDonald, one of only 5 Navajo Code Talkers still alive. So today we remember all those who have served our country proudly on this Veterans Day, and all we have to do is look into our own Arizona backyard to find the truest of American heroes, the Navajo Code Talkers.
It was 1944. World War II was well underway, and Peter McDonald was a 15-year-old who wanted to be a Marine after seeing another Marine dressed in blues.
And I asked, hey, how do I get one of those? He said, join the Marines. I said, I want to do that. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 15. He said, you can't do that. You've got to be at least 17 years old in order to join Marines.
So Peter fibbed about his age, enlisting and becoming one of the great Navajo Code Talkers, using his native language to help transmit tactical information.
Messages start coming in, we write it down in English, hand it over our shoulder to the runner, Navy runner standing behind us 24 hours a day. He takes it up to the bridge, gives it to the general or the admiral. They read it, they respond. The runner brings it back down. If on top of that message that he brought back down says Arizona, New Mexico, we send that message back out to where it is intended in Navajo Code.
But he wasn't the first. There were 29 original Code Talkers who tested the language during the earlier years of the war and had great success using what they were taught on the reservation.
It's very safe and secure, the Navajo language itself. Pronunciation of quite a few Navajo words. This is coming from the anthropologists that are very difficult to pronounce. Some words sound the same as another word with a small inflection of the tongue or the girdle. It could mean different things. So Navajo was chosen.
Many credit the Navajo Code Talkers for the success of the war. How does that make you feel?
Most of us, when we learn of this, we say, oh, wow, that's us, huh? So it made us feel good that we had something that was not of our own saying, but someone else. Someone used to say, those dumb Indians, those good-for-nothing Indians are now saying, hey, if it wasn't for the Navajos, we would never have taken the island of Ewo or many other islands that were very tough all through the war.
However, the Code Talkers were never commended until 1968, when the program was declassified. In 1971, President Richard Nixon awarded them the Certificate of Appreciation. McDonald would go on to meet many presidents and receive high praise from all walks of life. But he's most proud about what his Navajo Code Talkers were able to accomplish historically.
It's the only military code in modern history never broken by an enemy, they say. So, they like to use Navajo Code for almost all code systems, even though we were supposed to only send top secret confidential messages.
Now, McDonald would go on to use his GI Bill and go and get his degree. He would later become the Navajo Nation tribal chairman for 4 terms between 1970 to 1986 and was once referred to as the most powerful Indian in the United States. However, it would end in controversy with him suspended and later convicted in tribal and federal court for fraud and racketeering. And although some prosecutors believe that they were duped into filing those charges, Navajo Tribal Council later pardoned McDonald, and President Bill Clinton later commuted his sentence. Again, I can't stress enough how incredible it was You know how our interviews go, right? They're 20 minutes, maybe 30 at most. I sat and talked to him for 2 hours.
I believe it.
And just to take that all in. I mean, these are people who are in our own backyard and need to be respected and honored and remembered, most importantly, because when they got back from the war, they couldn't talk about what they did.
Right.
It wasn't until later, when it was declassified, that they finally got the recognition.
Wow, that's got to be on your list of one of your top things you've done.
Ever done in
He
your
looks
career.
like he's doing pretty well health-wise.
92 years old,
Yeah,
you know
still
what?
kicking
And
it.
he is sharp, and he can, I mean, he's amazing, amazing.
So cool.
And has probably a busier schedule than all of us. So after our interview there, he was headed to Dallas for the weekend and had several other events that he had to attend.
You know, and besides what they actually did with their native tongue, I mean, you think about he was 15 years old and he lied to volunteer for a country who didn't appreciate him at the time.
You're
You know,
exactly
and,
right.
And you hope that this generation and generations to come hear those stories and not
inspired,
only, yes, inspired and honor and revere that kind of volunteerism and sacrifice.
Yeah, he talked about, you know, he was 15 years old and he says, listen, I was born on the reservation. We were herding sheep. My mom was pregnant. I was dropped right there on a skin. He goes, there were no birth certificates, so that's how he was able to go enlist. He goes, you know, he goes, I told that story and they took me in.
2 hours, huh? He was probably telling his people, tell this guy I got some other things
I
to
have
do.
stuff to do.
Exactly. Move on,
2
kid.
hours.
Move on.
Great story, Howard.
Awesome story.
Thank you.